What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. Now, if you guys saw my little short that I just posted, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I've noticed online, Darren Dreger, and it's actually an article has been posted on Canucks Army, basically detailing that Darren Dreger, who works for TSN, is very, very reliable source. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Dregs. He's great. He's awesome. I love him. He's going out there and he's reporting that progress has been made on a Thatcher Demko contract extension as of today. Throughout the day, progress has been made on a contract extension for Thatcher Demko, and it's looking like Arturs Silovs is going to be the odd man out. He's going to be the one potentially traded, which is a complete 180 from what a lot of Canucks fans have been saying. They've been saying Demko's the odd man out. Demko's the guy who should be traded. Keep Silovs. Silovs is the future. I know, obviously, you can't trade Lankinen. He's got a no-move clause, and you just sign him to a big extension himself. But now we're hearing that the Canucks are making progress on extending Thatcher Demko. Likely going to happen, or potentially going to be happening over the next few weeks. Obviously, it makes you question that because, them's trading for Evander Kane. Their cap space is very limited, but perhaps they trade Silovs to acquire a center that they've been so desperately looking for. But I got to say, when it comes to this article and the whole idea of, extending Demko, trading Silovs, as you saw in that short, I got one thing to say. What? Really? Now all of a sudden you're saying you're going to extend Demko? I mean, the boys and I on Canucks Uncensored talked about this last night, and I believe it was all three of us agreed that Demko is the trade piece that you use. Demko is the odd man out. He's the one you trade. You keep Silovs. And now we're hearing that progress has been made on a Thatcher Demko extension. What? It doesn't really make much sense to me. But before we dive into the article, I know I've kind of rambled a little bit because this is absolutely baffling me. It's mind-blowing news, to hear this. But let me quickly thank my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, maker of that incredible artwork you see there behind me. You guys can check them out at GassyJackArt.com. You can also find them on Instagram at Gassy Jack Art. So go ahead, check them out. But let's not waste any more time and just dive into this article talking about progress being made on a multi-year extension between Demko and the Canucks, and Silovs could be in play. Let's go ahead and dive right into this. This article from our friends at Canucks Army, written by Tyson Cole. And it goes on to say, there may be a pathway for the Vancouver Canucks to get an extension done with goaltender Thatcher Demko. TSN's Darren Dreger joined TSN Overdrive and had some details regarding the apparent extension. Demko's status around the league changed a little bit as today unfolded. It didn't make sense until recently that Vancouver would have to consider trading Thatcher Demko. They're not comfortable with his long-term health, then why would you commit to bigger contracts like Oettinger or Swayman or a deal like that? I don't know what the firm numbers are, I don't know what the firm numbers are. I don't know what the term is that's being discussed by the Canucks and Demko's camp, but I was told by a couple of teams midday today that Demko is more or less now off the market. He goes on to say there was a team in the East that was pretty interested in Demko, maybe Buffalo. There'd be lots of teams that would be interested. The ask was really, really high, but they still had interest. So I got poking around that a little bit. I got poking around that a little bit more. I wouldn't call it close or imminent. I don't like using those words because as you know, things can go sideways pretty quickly, but it does sound like progress is being made on a multi-year extension. Both the player side and management for the Canucks have acknowledged that it's still an open and ongoing negotiation, but more from the player side, I got the sense that a multi-year extension was far more likely than a trade at this point, which is very interesting to hear. Now, obviously, Demko mentioned he wants to be a career Canuck. He wants to stay with the Canucks. He doesn't want to be He doesn't want to sign anywhere else. He wants to be here, which is obviously great to hear. But the Canucks have a massive hole in the middle of their lineup. Down the center, they have a massive hole, and Demko could have gotten them that center. Obviously, I have mixed feelings about this myself, but let's continue. In Wednesday's media availability following the Evander Kane trade, Canucks GM Patrick Allvin was asked where current negotiations stand with Demko. And then he goes on to say, it's been a really good conversation with Thatcher and his agent. We'll see over here the next couple of days or weeks if we can get something in place. Demko was drafted by the Canucks in the second round, 36th overall of the 2014 NHL draft. He first made his debut in a Canucks sweater in a late March game against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Demko stopped 26 of 30 shots, finishing with a 4.00 goals against average and a .864 save percentage, but walked away victorious. The American netminder played behind Jacob Markstrom for a few seasons before finally getting his opportunity in the bubble postseason run. Everyone remembers that. After a Markstrom injury, Demko took over in hopes of saving their playoff run. He played games 5 and 7, or games 5, 6, and 7 against the Vegas Golden Knights, stopping 123 of 125 shots he faced, finishing with a .984 save percentage, but the lone goal he allowed in Game 7 stood as the game winner. Since the 2020 bubble run, Demko has been the starter for the Canucks, but it wasn't until the 2023-2024 season that Demko fully hit his potential. The Canucks netminder had a 35-14-2 season, finishing with a 2.45 goals against average and a .918 save percentage with 5 shutouts. His efforts earned him runner-up for the Vezina Trophy that season, but then the injuries started to stack up. Demko was injured in a game against the Winnipeg Jets in March. He would miss 5 weeks before ramping back up in the final 2 games before the postseason. Demko was back in the crease for Game 1 against Nashville, but that was the last time the Canucks saw him during their postseason run. In fact, Demko was held out for the first 2 months of the 2024-2025 season. As he started to ramp up his workload, Demko suffered yet another injury. He would return and start to find his game again, but had multiple other injuries that ultimately forced him to start just 23 games. Injuries have surrounded Demko the past few seasons, so much so that his name started coming up in trade rumors as the weeks led up. However, with today's report, it sounds like an extension is more likely than a trade at this point. Instead, it appears that Arturs Silovs is likely the one who will be moved out this offseason, with Kevin Lankinen set to kick off his brand new 5-year contract, as well as Demko's extension being in the works. That leaves Silovs on the outside looking in, which absolutely freaking blows my mind and just absolutely sucks to hear that. Following a successful Calder Cup run, where Silovs finished with a 16-7 record, a 2.01 goals against average, and a .931 save percentage, and 5 shutouts that earned him the playoff MVP award, the Latvian netminder has caught the attention of teams around the NHL, so much so that when training camp rolls around next season, Silovs could potentially be claimed and the Canucks could lose him for nothing. When it's all said and done, you're probably not going to keep those 3 goalies, so Silovs makes a lot of sense that he could be in play. So there's that article. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this development? That, it's looking more and more like Demko is going to be extended. Progress has been made on a Demko extension. Silovs looks like the odd man out, the one who's on the outside looking in. Let me know what you guys think. I'm just blown away by this. I thought for sure Demko would be traded. We'd use Demko to try and get at least, not necessarily a 2C, but at least a center. Could we use Silovs to get a 2C? Could we maybe even, get another winger? But obviously the plan is to get that 2C, and the Canucks are scrambling and trying to figure out how they're going to do it. Who makes the most sense? Obviously, it seems like they're leaning towards signing a multi-year extension for Demko. Obviously, we haven't really talked money in regards to this potential extension. No, have you guys noticed that they didn't mention money at all? Perhaps, this is just a thought, Demko is willing to take a discount in order to stay with the Canucks. And maybe that's why the Canucks, as of today, are ramping up extension talks with Demko. Maybe because he told the team, hey, I'm willing to take a discount if I can stay here. Just one possible thought. Let me know what you guys think about that, potentially. And just, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this development? I wanted to quickly jump on here and do this video as, I just saw it. I wanted to get it out there, get it out to you, the people, the fans. And just let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. And if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you want to stay up to date on all Canucks content and, in the lead up to the draft, to free agency, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. You can find us on social media. Find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change to find our Facebook page. Find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can find us on X at Line Change Van. Find us on TikTok at the.line.change.po. Feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. And if you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, feel free to give us a follow as well as rate and review us. But that's going to do it for me in this video. Once again, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this development, about progress being made on a Demko extension, and Silovs being potentially traded. Flipping it, instead of Demko being the one potentially traded, it's looking like it's likely to be Silovs. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you guys just like me, where you're like, what? When I think of trading Silovs after this historic run that he just went on, obviously it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And as you saw from the short that I posted, I channeled my inner Stone Cold Steve Austin, was like, no, I'm not happy about that. But I guess it all depends on what we get for Demko, whether he's a part of the package. I don't think it's going to be a 1-for-1. But if we get a solid second line center, I think that will help cushion the blow of losing Silovs. But let me know what you guys think. Once again, let me know in the comment section down below. And let's not forget, let's go Canucks. Bleed blue. We're all about the Canucks. I know this has been, frustrating. But hey, we love this team. And I know I'm not going to give up on this team. They have a plan, hopefully, at least. And I'm going to keep rooting on this team. So let's go Canucks. Let's go Abby Canucks. Champs, baby. Champs. And I'll see you guys in the next video.